This is the Big Stories Podcast, where we tell the amazing and inspiring stories from across the Big 12 Conference.
I'm your host, Cleon Wall, and welcome back to another summertime edition of the Big Stories Podcast. I'm recording this on Friday, so it's a casual day for me, which is why I'm wearing my Los Angeles Dodgers visor and a brightly colored golf shirt. I just wish I was playing golf after this recording. And as for my visor, I've been a fan my whole entire life, since most of my family members lived in the greater Los Angeles area when they were growing up, and so I adopted that team as my team. So I don't think I'm a bandwagon fan. There are many years between championships. I remember watching the Dodgers win in 1988 when I was 15, and not seeing them win again until 2020 when I was 47. I don't think they're ruining baseball, but we don't need to get into that right now, and I'm probably driving producer Terry South crazy right now with all this talk about the Dodgers. Anyway, when we return in about 4 weeks with new episodes on the Big Stories Podcast, you might think, why are we doing a big story about Utah Tech? Isn't Big Stories mainly focused on the Big 12? I mean, it's kind of implied in the name. Well, there's a good reason for that. As I mentioned before on the podcast, BYUtv produces Big Stories based on BYU football's opponents. So in the next season, you will hear stories from Utah Tech, Colorado State, and Notre Dame. Who knows, maybe there will be another non-Big 12 team that we will also focus on next season. So get ready for Season 4 Big Stories coming up in the days before Week 1 games. Not Week 0 games, by the way, but Week 1 games. That's the week when Colorado faces Georgia Tech, Oregon State plays at Houston, Boston College takes on Cincinnati in the Queen City, and Baylor travels to Atlanta to take on Auburn. That should be a good game, or at least I'm hoping it's a good game. For today's episode, we are here to update you on Big Story Season 3 from BYUtv. Today, we're doing the Texas two-step with Texas Tech and TCU. Now, if you know anything about Red Raider football or paid attention to college football games in the mid-2000s, you're going to know the name Graham Harrell. Think about how last year's team meant so much to Texas Tech fans, and you will know how much they loved Graham and the Red Raider squad in 2008. However, despite all of the accolades and accomplishments Graham has received from his time at Texas Tech, he feels that it's only one piece of his story, because Graham didn't just see success on the field, he saw opportunities and experiences that he knew were bigger than himself. During his time at Tech, his father, Sam, was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
My eyesight started leaving me when I get hot, and so I went to a specialist, and that guy told me I had multiple sclerosis.
I didn't really know anything that was going on, so for me it was an incredible 5 years or 4 years that I was here and 3 years that I played, and Dad was going through some really tough times that we didn't even know about. Raised enough money and sent him to Panama to get stem cell treatments done.
I went to Panama the first time in 2010, and the first 2 times I didn't see any change. And I thought, well, I'm going to go a third time and see. And for whatever reason, I became what I would say is just symptom-free and pretty normal for probably 8 or 9 years.
It gave us our dad back, but the people that may benefit the most are the young guys that he got to coach again.
Those stem cell treatments have allowed Sam Harrell to feel much better and spend more time around his family and also some of the high school football players he coached. Graham also trusted God through his playing days and into his chosen profession of coaching college football. Coaching gave him many opportunities to be involved in the game he loved, but it also resulted in the constant upheaval of his family's life. Then he got fired from his job as Purdue's offensive coordinator, but he and his wife saw this as a blessing. Graham ended up getting a job as Abilene Christian University's offensive coordinator. ACU just so happens to be his parents' alma mater. In Coach Harrell's first year at the school, the Wildcats made it to the FCS playoffs, losing in the second round. ACU averaged 408 yards a game on offense and scored 53 touchdowns. His quarterbacks threw for over 3,300 yards. Well, that's not even close to the 5,101 yards he passed for in his final season at Tech. Maybe they can throw it a bit more next season. We'll see if he institutes more of a passing game. So what's our big takeaway? God doesn't waste any experience. The years Graham spent dealing with adversity and facing uncertainty all became part of the bigger story that makes Graham Harrell who he is. What felt like struggles and setbacks at the time became the very experiences that prepared him for the life he has now. By the way, we mentioned a couple of the miracles in Coach Harrell's life. There is a third miracle that we didn't even talk about. You should check that out by watching the episode at BYUSN.com. If the elevator is broken, take the stairs. That's a phrase that was frequently used by the mother of our next Big Stories highlight, James Cash. And that phrase became a philosophy that shaped the way he approached life. Growing up was not easy. As a young black athlete pursuing basketball and academics, Cash faced challenges and prejudice that many people will never have to face. But those obstacles never stopped him from moving forward, even when playing at certain universities meant needing a police escort just to enter an arena. But nevertheless, in 1965, James began his collegiate basketball career, becoming the first black athlete at TCU, as well as the first black basketball scholarship athlete in the Southwest Conference. Rick Wittenbaker and Jeff Harp were a couple of his former Frog teammates. What really stands out about James is that he has never let the negative experiences or prejudices placed against him limit him or make him bitter, both on and off the basketball court.
A lot of people who wouldn't think I was capable of being successful in that environment. And the last thing I could do is overreact in a negative way.
Through his own determination and the support of those who believed in him, James continued to climb. He earned his bachelor's degree from TCU, later received his master's degree and PhD from Purdue University, and eventually joined the faculty at the Harvard Business School in 1976. And he even was the first black faculty member to receive tenure there. But even as his career expanded far beyond basketball, he never forgot where it all started. After retiring from the Harvard Business School and becoming Professor Emeritus, Dr. Cash continued serving in leadership roles, including as a member of the Boston Celtics ownership group and board of directors. But still, despite his successes, accomplishments, and accolades, and involvement with the Celtics, Dr. Cash's story of breaking the color barrier in the Southwest Conference did not end in his early career. In 2007, while serving on the board of companies like Microsoft, Walmart, and General Electric, Dr. Cash returned to a place that carried unpleasant memories for him, the University of Arkansas basketball arena.
For long after I graduated, I just really disliked the University of Arkansas. Now, the story doesn't end there, because in 2007, I was on the board of 3 of the Fortune 10 companies, Microsoft, Walmart, General Electric. Guess where Walmart has its annual meeting? University of Arkansas basketball arena.
And he was there in that same arena as a director.
So in my life, I had gone from police escort getting into the gym, watching the university that I despised have a black coach, 5 black players, and win the NCAA championship. Walking into the University of Arkansas basketball arena as the lead director of the world's largest company by revenue. I think God put me on this earth and gave me a series of experiences to make sure I was more empathetic than I would have been if I hadn't had those experiences.
A place that once represented rejection and racial animosity had become a place where he could see just how far God had carried him. Our big takeaway: the challenges we face can be the very experiences that are critical to who we become. Climbing the stairs is often much harder than the smooth ride of the elevator, but just as Dr. Cash's story shows, every step can prepare us for something greater. TCU honored Dr. Cash with a life-size statue. Check it out by watching the full episode at BYUSN.com. We will be back in 2 weeks with our final look back at BYUTV's 2025 Big Stories, and then it's on to Season 4. All of our BYUtv recaps were produced by Rebecca Mortensen and Brandon Thorpe. Production and editing were provided by Terry South. I'm Cleon Wall, and Big Stories is a production of BYU Radio.